your back, a brother in the fight, keeping you on track. Charity and healing, one step at a time. Big Grizz is here for you. Hear that mountain climb? It's the Big Grizz Show, where the strong find grace, lifting up the ones who fought the hardest race. With a laugh, a growl, and a mission so true, Big Grizz is here for you. Through the battlefields of life, he's got your back. A brother in the fight, keeping you on track. Charity and healing, one step at a time. Big Grizz leads the charge, hear that mountain climb. It's the Big Grizz Show, where the warriors meet, finding hope and honor, taking back their seat. The Big Grizz Show, tune in and stay a while, healing hearts with that rugged country style. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Big Grizz Show. Today we have AJ with Battlefish Charters, right?
Battlefish Academy at Paul Smith College. I also
Okay.
own Battlefish Charters, but I'm really here to talk about Battlefish Academy.
Okay, and he's a vet. We're gonna get into all of that and get his idea or his intake on why he's doing what he's doing to help vets. As always, Josh Pruitt, the co-host, is here. Quick rundown with Josh, AJ. I did about a month and a half of January 6th, guys. Josh was falsely imprisoned for 3 years.
Yeah, right over 3 years.
And he got that pardon, and he was on my show right away. And well, now he's going to start his own show, but that's a little bit about him. Can we get into a little bit about you and what you do?
A little bit about me. Okay. Yeah, I'm AJ, and I guess I separated from the Army in 2010. I had PTSD. I was a little bit crazy, and I just I didn't really want to leave my house much. Right, I kind of secluded myself away from society and playing video games, and it wasn't good for the mental health. Coming up on my 8-year wedding anniversary, I didn't really plan much, and I decided to take my wife camping out in the Adirondack Mountains, and we camped and hiked and canoed, kayaked all over the place, and every corner we went to, we found a new forest ranger that was talking about Paul Smith College. So we just decided to come up around the corner and check this place out. And it's a campus that's 14,000 acres in the middle of a 6 million acre park. And at the time, the student body was only about 700 kids strong. And they told me I could bring my son to classes with me and stuff. So I ended up earning a bachelor's degree in environmental science concentrated in fish and wildlife management. And my classes here revolved around trapping frogs or using Sherman traps for squirrels, netting fish or birds, and just doing the research out on the lake. And as time passed, 3-4 years went by, I kind of realized that my PTSD was slowly, naturally just fading away. And we took over a Cub Scout pack not long afterwards. We had 8 kids. It was kind of my feet, toes back in the water moment. And within a year, we had 73 kids. And I realized that, if I was going to put this much effort towards something, we should start something that's going to really mean something. We started a small business called Battlefish Charters LLC, and the idea was to just get veterans out on the water, try to find peace, kind of like I did. And that's really how I met Ramrod Eugenio from Rams Off the Hook.
Okay.
Dude was just having a rough time, and we sat down, This was unbelievable. I'm not going to air Ram's stuff out there, but he was having a bad day. We met for the first time to go ice fishing, and we're just sitting in an ice hut. All of our tip ups are out on the ice, and the dude just opened up to me, having a bad day, and a flag went up, and we went and got it, holding a nice little brown trout. And before we got back to the hut, another flag was up, and another flag was up. All of a sudden, his bad day was forgotten about. Just like
Yep.
the perspective changed, and Ram found a new purpose then, and that's how Rams Off the Hook got started. Was his purpose was not about dwelling on whatever he's battling now. It was about battling fish, and he started making his lures and putting his focus into that, and it changed his perspective quite a bit. I think he's come quite far.
Yeah, he go ahead, Josh.
Well, I was just gonna say, hey, Paul, and like I could have probably asked you this a long time ago, Jordan. On the PTSD thing, does it eventually just go away?
No, but his name's AJ. Paul Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry, AJ. AJ. Okay.
You know, it's funny that you say that. Does it just go away? You know, I think this is different for everyone, right?
It is.
My business that I created was to very inexpensively teach children to fish, and I'd put them on the Saranac River, and we'd float down the we'd float the Saranac River into the Mackenzie Mountain Wilderness area, and we could catch 50 fish in 4 hours. They might not be huge fish, but you could catch walleye or rainbow trout or smallmouth bass or a pike. You could see a heron or an eagle or a moose. Our moose population in our county is 33, so you see a moose all the time.
Wow.
But if you put yourself in that situation as a guide every single day, and now your purpose and your attention is on teaching kids to fish, your perspective changes, and you're not focused on those things that, you know, my PTSD used to bother me a lot. I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't be in crowded rooms. Now I'm the director of Battlefish Academy, and I have to address 50 people at a time at any given moment. Does it bother me still? Maybe, but I seem to be a lot better than where I was. The proof of that,
definitely am.
when I got out of the Army and was diagnosed with PTSD, my Army buddies called me Twitch. I had a head twitch that was violent, and I would do it over 100 times a minute, which ended up causing me to have a tear in my vertebral artery, and I had 4 strokes.
We talked about that.
Yeah, so all from that head twitch, and I don't twitch anymore. All of that is stemmed in this. We have 3 P's: purpose, patience, and perspective. I try to teach these to all the veterans, and all the programming that I'm developing. It's not just for veterans, but because I'm a veteran, and that's who I relate to best, I'm kind of tailoring my stuff towards veterans. And with the business aspect of this has been such a great business plan. It needs to be shared, which is how we got our TV show. We had a TV show that went out on CBS last year called The Veterans Playbook. And essentially it took 6 different veteran-owned small businesses from around the country and created a blueprint for other veterans to just copy that. Taking that a step further, we wanted to open a school so I could just create a pipeline of service members leaving the Army, transitioning out right into school so they can start becoming a guide now before they get lost. When you separate from the service, it's almost like you lose your purpose for Uncle Sam. And some people lose that for several years, and it's harder to bring yourself out of a hole when it's deep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get these guys, as they're separating from the Army, from the Navy, from Space Force, whatever it is. This is why we've created Battlefish Academy. And the root of Battlefish Academy is a 15-week, 15-credit certificate program that you can take the first part of it online. So the first 12 weeks can all be taken online, and it's classes like principles of marketing, business systems, which is how to start a small business, business management, how to run that small business. And it's really a business certificate that you're going to get at the end of this. But if you want to stay in the program, it all leads to a 2-year associates. It'll just transfer. But our main draw to this program is what we're calling Rec 198, Battlefish Foundations of Leadership. And that's an in-person course. So if you pass all these online courses, these 4 online courses, you get to come to the Adirondacks to our lodge for 2 weeks. And we're going to run you through a 2-week guide intensive where we really teach you everything there is to building a business, a guide service, how to book trips, how to deal with angry clients, how to clean fish and set up a camp. We have 3 overnights into this thing. It is going to be wild, and it's all covered by veterans benefits. So anybody on the GI Bill, post 9/11, VRE, even if you don't have an honorable discharge, I think we can figure out a way to make this free for veterans, and that's kind of the whole point of it.
Yeah, I've been debating on, I've been praying on it because I'd have to use the VRE because I've already used my GI Bill, but and that one it wasn't even an accredited school. I got like $300 back. That was it. Stupid. Josh, on your note, asking about PTSD, I can tell you, I don't think it goes anywhere. I think you learn how to deal with it and you find ways to help you through it. I had a severe bad PTSD episode. First one I've had in probably close to 8 years when, me and my wife came up on that motorcycle accident and was trying to help that guy. I felt like I was back in Iraq at an IED explosion and I froze in the middle of the road. So they comes and goes, but it really depends. You can find ways to deal with it. Like mine is definitely outdoors. I mean, I'm trying to stay outdoors as much as I can fishing wise, because that clears my head. That is one thing that I will stand, whether it's hiking, hunting, fishing, shed hunting, mushroom picking. I mean, it don't matter, but being away from people and not having technology helps drastically.
For me, I think that being forced to answer the phone, being forced to float down the river with 2 people, 3 people, and take care of those people, which is really just translating from me being a team leader as a grunt in 11 Bravo, and now I'm taking care of civilians or kids right down the river. It forced me to communicate with them, and that's stuff that I didn't want to do from my living room or when I was secluded.
Yeah.
That helped me overcome a lot. I haven't encountered a terrible, bloody, gory motorcycle accident like yours. We've had some emergencies and some situations, and I've been curious how I would react mentally to those. And I've been on point so far. We had, without name dropping anybody, we had a general manager of a professional sports team. The gentleman's like 6'4", 260 pounds, like a big dude, flip over a kayak in the Saranac River. And the part of the river he fell out of, he was maybe 3 feet deep. Toes went up in the air. He was wearing a life jacket, gurgling for help. And
why didn't you just stand up?
Exactly, right? Wife's freaking out. All I had to do was stay calm, walk over to the boat, pick him up, and tell him he was okay, and everything was good.
Yeah, a lot of people.
If you lose your mind in that situation, somebody can get hurt.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that don't know how to handle yourself around a river or anything like that, especially if you're in waders. If anything along those lines, you got to keep a clear head. You can't jump to, oh no, it is, because you're gonna make it worse.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the guy that makes it worse. You got to be the guy that squashes accidents, emergencies immediately.
Yeah. I've fallen in the middle of winter in a river out here, and my waders started filling up. And I mean, I lost my waders because I cut them off. But I mean, they were filling up so fast that I'm not sinking. I cut them right off. I took my belt off, took the top off, and cut holes right in the legs, so I didn't go nowhere.
That's quick.
You have to. I mean, you have to think that. When I go fishing, I got a knife that hangs on my neck.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to be able to do that, because I mean, I froze after that. Oh, big time. Because that water was probably 36 degrees. It was snowing and I was completely soaked. I didn't change of clothes. We were like 2 miles in. My buddy had one of those heated Milwaukee jackets that I ended up wearing, and we walked straight back out. I mean, it was cold.
Yeah, I got in the water here about a week ago in Rhode Island. Epic mistake.
I hate to say this, but I think you guys are a couple wimps. Either you guys ice fish?
No, I don't.
That. We got to get you up here when it's -40 out one day, running the ice augers, chasing flags.
AJ, where are you at?
The Northern Adirondacks, Northern New York.
Okay.
What do you mean chasing flags?
Okay, so ice fishing is one of the most productive ways to fish, because You get 6 lines. You get 6. Well, it's actually 7 lines. You get 7 lines. So we'll put 6 tip-ups or traps in the ice. It'll basically be it's a trap. We put a hook on it, and when the fish eats the bait, a flag goes up. So then you run across the ice and go chase your flags. So we're always chasing flags ice fishing. But everybody gets 6 tip-ups and a jigging line, so you can jig with 1 rod too. You can, depending on what you're fishing for, and we were speaking about crappie earlier.
Yeah.
Crappie is great to do this with. If you go out with 3 buddies, you get 6 traps, you get 6 traps, I get 6 traps. That's 18 traps we can set in a grid. The crappie will swim around, and you can chase the school by where the flags are going up. And then you just sit there with the live scope and jig them up all day long.
That'd be fun.
And you can do it from the ice hut. We can put the ice huts out there with beds in them so you can sleep and camp and watch TV. I'll blow your mind with some ice fishing.
Well, I mean, I'll go out there and sleep and camp all day, but I don't need technology. So me and my wife and kids and our brother-in-law went camping at a weekend, a couple weekends or 2 weekends ago, or whatever it was.
Okay.
And we park, and I'm sitting there, got the tent, everything up, because I get in like my mode. It's like, stay away from me. Let me unload everything. Let me get the tent set up. Just leave me alone until I'm done. I don't need help. Because I know where everything's at. Just leave me alone. I'll do it. So we get it all done, and I get it all done, and we were sitting there doing something. I don't remember. Or we're getting a fire going or something. And my son, I looked up, and he's staring at his phone. I said, look, we're in the woods. Put your phone away. No technology. You can go a day and a half without your damn phone. Put it away.
Right.
Kid had so much fun. He was out running around with a flashlight, catching stuff. It's like you don't need the technology. And he goes, "Is that why you never answer our calls when you're fishing?" I said, "Yeah. My phone gets turned off and it goes in my fish bag, and I do not look at it until I'm ready to go."
Yep. Or I need to take a picture of that fish I just caught.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah. We host a kids camp here at the college every year, and last year, a big thing of it is just teaching kids to fish, whether it's fly fishing or kayak fishing. They make their own fishing rods while they're here at camp. They tie their own flies, make their own plastic salamanders. One of the kids caught a 40-inch pike. I mean, 3 days in, caught a 40-inch pike. We got all sorts of photos. He is so happy about it. The last day of camp, they get to bring their parents in and teach them how to fish. I'll be damned if this kid didn't take his dad right back to that spot. His dad caught the fish, the same fish.
Wow.
He took right to it. You want to make your heart warm? Teach a kid to fish and then watch him teach his dad to fish. Holy cow. Blow your mind.
Oh, that's something else. So now I know you said you got your first run at the Academy coming up, I believe. I mean, you were talking your first class is getting ready to go through. We
do. So our program was just approved the other day. We're going to open registration either Monday or Tuesday. Okay. I've got 25 spots available open. You literally, if you use, Post 9/11 or Montgomery, you can get paid to come to fishing guide school.
Yep.
Online classes will start June 23rd, and our first in-person is going to be August 11th. August 11th to August 22nd. It's going to be wild. I can't wait. Did you include a link somewhere to our website?
No, I have not yet, but I can right now.
Well, yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I totally didn't even think about it. What was it? It's Battlefish.
Yep. It's paulsmithcollege.edu/Battlefish Academy.
Okay. Paul Smith College. Then you said Battlefish
.edu/Battlefish Academy.
Hey, AJ, so the only place I've been in upstate New York is Rome. How far are you away from there?
I think Rome's close to the Finger Lakes, so 3 hours-ish. Yep.
Okay.
The Finger Lakes are beautiful, great rolling hills. We are definitely in the mountains, though.
Okay. I'm in Providence, Rhode Island now, but I have no clue how far I am from you, but
I have no idea. Do you live out in Rhode Island?
I do now.
Don't come visit the Adirondacks. It's hard to leave this place.
Okay.
One of my worries is that all these veterans are going to come in for this guide intensive for 2 weeks, And the same thing that happened to me is going to happen to them. They're going to see this mountain view from campus. Let me show you. I don't know if you guys can see this mountain view.
I live in the Rockies, so that is freaking beautiful, though. Right on a lake. I mean, come on.
14,000 acres is our campus. It has a major lake on it. We have small ponds. There's 30,000 miles of lakes and streams in the Adirondacks. You can go 5 minutes any direction and fish a new spot. It's ridiculous.
Wow. No, that's beautiful out there. I live in the Cascades, the base of the Rockies out here. But we're down in a town, in a city that I'd rather be out in the woods for sure.
Definitely. I understand.
Dude, my dream goal is to have a house in the woods, and I want to dig a big ass pond and get an irrigation or have a creek, figure it out where if there's a creek running in there, reroute it into so it's a fresh fed pond, and just fill it with crappie and bass, and yeah. It's like my dream.
I live in a stream that is fed by one of the 7 there's 7 ponds left in the world that have a native heritage strain of brook trout. One of them is protected by the Rockefellers, and that stream is fed by that pond. It goes almost right by my house.
We have lots of brook trout up here.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. And they are one of the most prettiest trout you'll ever, especially when they spawn.
Yes. Oh,
man. Oh, the colors when they're spawning. It's insane. No, we have them out here. They're hard to find, but you really got to go up into the Highland lakes and the Highland streams to find them.
Yeah, our native brookies here are so pretty. They look like they're blue with skittles all over them. It's just wild.
No, dude, they're so pretty. Oh, they're same with a golden trout. I want to catch a golden trout so bad just to take a picture.
Right? Yeah, me too.
Can't keep them, but I'm good. I just want the picture. Like, I want to know, I want to see it in real life. I mean, just seeing it on TV or in pictures, I want to see it.
I'd like to go after some cutthroat trout, golden trout, anything out west. I'd love it.
Oh, there's some big cutthroat out here. There's sea run cutthroat, which they're not an endangered species, but you can't keep them. I think they're like our state fish or something out here. But I think we got 7 species of trout? We got browns, rainbow, brook, dolly, golden. I'm forgetting one. Anyway, I think we got all the species of trout out here.
I think so.
Okay, so in this schooling, you said that we got sidetracked with fishing. I kind of figured this might be but you said with this schooling, I know you had told me that you get your AA in business and science, or it's towards a 2-year degree for it.
So my 15 credit certificate program will build into a business, an associate's in business, or you can take it into a bachelor's program either way.
Okay.
If you complete the certificate, you're already 25% of the way there to an associate's degree.
Okay.
That's kind of one of the draws to stay at Paul Smith's. I'm hoping that at least some people want to stay here and continue. I am also in the process of developing some other certificate programs. I probably can't talk about them, I guess, yet until they're approved both through the
school. Because you don't know if it's gonna go or not.
Yeah, higher education's a little bit funny. As a small business owner, if you need something like business cards, you just do it, right? You go to the website, you design them, and it's an hour-long process. They're on their way. With higher education, you have to have things approved, and a lot of I's have to cross stuff. All the T's have to be crossed, I's dotted, that kind of stuff. When I can announce that, I will. But for now, it's the 15 credit certificate program that builds into an associate's, or we have 2 different bachelor programs that it builds into as well. So this is just the start, and then your in-person class. What does a day by day? I know you said 3 overnights, but what is a day by day in that side going to look like? I'm sure you can talk about that because you're getting ready to do it in a couple months. I do. I've even brought the schedule, hoping you might. Oh, all right. Just so I didn't forget anything, I wanted to really get into this. All right, so day one's going to be pretty easy. Guys are going to come in. They have to check in. We're building a lodge right now for hopefully to house 25 veterans and their families. So if you want to come up with your wife or your son and that makes you more comfortable, we're going to try to put tiny homes all up and down the property so you can stay, with your son. You don't have to worry about chilling with 24 other Joes. With that, the program's open to everybody, and especially military dependents. We're not too far from Fort Drum. I want to make sure everybody's comfortable sending their son, that just graduated high school to this program as well. So we have Leave No Trace classes on day one, easy stuff, orientation. We're going to go over the licensing requirements in every single state that people come from for their guide license. Every state's a little bit different. There's no federal guidelines or regulation yet. We're going to try to change that hopefully in the future, but we'll see what happens. We're also going to take a group hike that day, kind of like a team building hike. Day two is all about first aid, Red Cross, CPR, AED. This is one of those mandatory things that most states require to get your guide license, and it's so important. You only need to perform CPR once for it to be
to realize it's important. Yeah,
exactly. The next thing is we're going to let NOLS, the National Outdoor Leadership School, kind of take over the program for a couple days. I don't know if anyone's familiar with NOLS, but they do some incredible backcountry work worldwide.
Okay.
They'll take like groups of 17-year-old kids on expeditions for 30 days throughout New Zealand. Like, we're talking wild expeditions. So we're going to try to put a focus on, a lot of these guys are soldiers, might not want to go back into the field. We're going to have NOLS take this part over where it's comfortable. We're going to teach people how to live in the outdoors comfortably and not just suck it up kind of deal. That's going to bring us into some water safety stuff. They're taking over with the water safety, throwing people out of kayaks, making sure that they can self-rescue, buddy rescue with kayaks, canoes. Everybody can swim until they fall out of a kayak, and everybody can get back in a kayak until they fall out of one. So learning how to do that before that actually happens, super important. They have a bunch of rescue drills also provided, and personal survival rescue stuff off the water. The next day is all about land navigation and fieldcraft, reading maps and compasses. Not all of us are Army guys. I'm an 11 Bravo. I know that my map skills are on point, but we might have a couple. There's no one nice way to say pogue that doesn't.
Yeah, and you said this isn't just for vets. It could be any. So you don't know if somebody, high schoolers coming out of high school wanting to do something like this or get into fish and wildlife. So this is a start.
That's exactly it.
You don't know that.
We got some orienteering challenges. The next day is practical skills day. This is where the veterans are going to set up their own base camp, basically, and show the NOLS instructors what they've learned throughout the last couple days. And they're also going to bring them in some communication GPS devices so they can learn how to use these mountain radios. We have some special mountain radios at the college that's pretty cool. Day 6, they're going to turn this back over to the guides, and they're going to meet us at a little place we call Black Pond on the college campus, which is known to have 4 or 5 pound brook trout in the pond. It is.
Oh, wow.
This pond is private Paul Smith's property. The college kids take care of it like you would not believe.
Okay.
Anybody tries to get on there and do something illegal, the kids are pushing them off pretty quick. So the veterans are going to get dropped off to all these master guides, and the guides are going to take the veterans on their first fishing adventure and show them what a fishing trip is supposed to look like. They'll get the next day, which will be a Sunday. They'll get that off to kind of rest, relax, study if they want, or just go on their own adventures. We have 26 kayaks on campus with life jackets and rods, and they can just take those anytime they want. We're going to open up on Monday with business basics, and we're going to bring in some of our business courses back that they've already taken online. And we're going to have a one day of, hey, did you start a small business while you were doing this online? Because you have the opportunity to do it right now with the instructors, with the professors. We'll go over our insurance. I have an insurance guy that one of my clients going back, I made my insurance, I don't know the best way to put it, but my contact for my insurance company, I made him as a client, and for $599, am covered through Philadelphia Insurance with $1 million coverage for anybody I want to take out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to share that with all these other guys that are hopefully starting their small businesses, because I haven't found another guide who has a policy like this one, and it's fantastic. And, you know, Jim can come in and talk about why insurance is important if anybody needs to hear it. We have a few other clubs and organizations coming in to talk about how to work small business in locally. And what I mean by that, we have the Ausable Club, which is a club that goes back to the early 1800s. It's the oldest club in the Adirondack Park, and it's for like the most elite, very elite folks around the country. And we've been invited in to become the in-house guides, and that kind of relationship goes back and forth. We're training guides. We're going to staff guides over there. We can work with hotels, and hotels can sponsor this from around the country. We could send out guides. Day 9 goes into, this is where you're going to love it, social media and marketing. We're bringing in Paulie Martin, social media and marketing with Paulie Martin, Get Real Bass Fishing, his wife.
Okay.
Erica Martin, the surf casting Barbie. His brother's coming in, Charlie Cheese Whiz. These guys are just social media pros.
Hold on. Is that a nickname?
What's that?
Charlie Cheese Whiz.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's a nickname, not his last name.
No, that's his handle. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Oh, okay.
All really fantastic dudes. Paulie from Get Real Bass Fishing, he has a video with like 20-some million views. He is a really cool guy. He's had this YouTube channel for at least 15 years, since he was a kid, and it's always been about teaching people to fish. He's not out there hustling anybody. He recently, after we launched Battlefish University, our pilot, he got his guide license, and he is crushing it in the guide world now down on Long Island. It's really cool to watch from both ends, from him helping us and him growing as a guide. The next day, day 10, we're going to bring the guides back, and we're going to talk about customer experience and communication, how to talk to clients, how to get clients, how to deal with crappy clients. Because as a guide, you're bound to get a bummer of a day once in a while. There's really great days. There's downer of days too.
Oh, I've been on a few of those, especially when you're paying a guide service and then you get out there and no fish and you're going.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get a lot of people that don't understand. It's called fishing, not catching. So it doesn't matter if it's $200 for a trip. You got a 50-50 chance you're going to catch a fish. There's no guarantee it's going to happen. There's no guarantee it's not going to happen. There's no guarantee you're going to have a wonderful day and you don't know how to fight a fish and you're not going to get into the boat.
Totally true.
I mean,
there's a million things that could happen. You can have a seizure on the boat, and there's nothing I could do to prevent it. I can't control if the fish are biting or not, but I can do all the research in the world to give us a better chance.
Yep.
If I do this every day, I kind of know where the fish are. If you do it every day, you know where the fish are. It gives you a little bit better chance. The things that I'm trying to get around, geez, I've had some bad experiences. You want to talk about good, bad experiences on the water? Oh, I got some stories. You want to go good or bad first?
Oh, let's go bad, because I want to hear if you fell in the boat or fell out of the kayak or something.
Oh, geez. Okay, so one of the worst, Francois. Okay, so we have rugby weekend up here. Every year, rugby weekend, and rugby teams come from all over the world to compete. And rugby players are not smart football players. Okay, they just go out there without equipment. They beat each other up, and they drink all weekend. And they all think they could just get on my boats and just wreak havoc. And this one guy, you know, I do these kayak charters. I'll put groups together. You know, if one person wants to go out and two people want to go out, we're going out as three people. Put the two groups together. So I have a great husband and wife who want to go out, and I'm training a new guide. And this Frenchy guy wants to come out too. So he calls, says he's on his way, and we wait on the side of the river for him. He's like 10 minutes late. I tell my other clients, let's get going. So we start heading down the river, and I don't hear from Frenchy. I don't hear from my guide. I left my guide to wait for Frenchy. And it was about 45 minutes before he showed up. And my guide in training was a retired state trooper. and says, "This guy's just off." I was like, okay, well, catch up to us on the kayaks and we'll figure it out, you know. And Frenchie requested a motor on the kayak, which is kind of odd. Not everybody does that, but sometimes, you know, people want a motor. I get it.
I want one. I want to get the one that you can put the electric motor right in the middle and you control around.
Yeah, so I have motor guides, and it's all just basically remote controlled.
Yeah.
On this one here, it was a flex drive. It's controlled with his toes. It's one little knob. That's it. It's very easy. And he got in the water and flipped the kayak over immediately. Lost his cell phone, lost his keys, lost a fishing rod, lost the battery, lost the motor. It was like a lot he lost. So our guide in training took the motor away from him, gave him the pedals. It was also a pedal-driven kayak.
And the pedal ones I could be okay with.
He flipped the pedals. Within 2 minutes, flipped the pedals. So at that point, he broke the fishing rod. We gave him a new rod. He broke that rod. And so he took that away from him, gave him the paddle. He could not figure out how to paddle on both sides. He was just going back and forth, instead of pushing the water behind him. Could not get the concept of paddling. So Kevin tied his boat to his kayak and drug him down the river. He gets up to me. I give him, my clients are great. This husband and wife, they are fantastic. And Kevin, I have him on speakerphone, and he is just like telling us about his time, and we're all laughing about it, having a good time. So I give Kevin my clients, and he goes up the river, and this guy smacks me in the head. I give him a new rod, smacks me in the head with double treble hooks right away. Oh my God. Stuck to the side of my head. Pull him out. He apologizes. Within 2-3 minutes after that, snap the rod tip right off.
And this guy's training to be a guide?
No. This is, so at this point, this is the Frenchie guy. Our guide in trainings with my other clients.
Okay.
At this point, he snaps this rod tip down and smashes the rod into the kayak and snaps a Shimano reel on me. I mean, I use some nice reels. Snaps the bail on it. Like, oh my gosh, dude, you just ruined a rod. Now you ruined the reel. I'm taking everything away from you, and we're leaving now. I'm going to take you off this river. The problem is you can't just get off the river once you're on it. You got to get to the end still.
Yep.
And my wife is always waiting at the end of the river to pick us up, and all the clients drive everyone home. We start heading down the river, and he just falls out of the kayak again. Now, we have inflatable life jackets. So I gave him a new life jacket. He blew up 2 life jackets on this trip. This never happens. Never happens. We get down to the end of the river, and my wife is waiting down there, and our guide in training, ex-retired state trooper, says, "Don't let this guy go home with your wife." I was like, you know, that's a great idea. Good thinking. So he takes him back to his car where he lost his keys and doesn't have a phone.
He lost his keys too? When he flipped the first time, huh?
And his phone in the river. So our guide in training goes into the river and for hours starts looking for it. I get everything cleaned up from the trip. I'm back home. I call Kevin to talk about this trip, and he's still in the river. What the hell are you doing, man? No. The guy told us when we dropped him off that he shouldn't have shown up drunk. We're like, dude, like, okay, this is like a no.
He was drunk?
This is a no-no. Like, if you'd have said that up front, we wouldn't have put you on the river. Like, darn. So I drive back down to where his car is at to go get Kevin off the river and stop looking for stuff. And I have my wife with me, and this guy is standing in the park butt-ass naked. He's like 55, 60 years old, not in good shape at all. And he doesn't speak a lick of English, okay? Everything is this broken French that you're trying to understand with him. So we call the police. We explain the situation, and we think that it's over. Not over. The next day, his wife calls the business phone and says, "The guy's missing. What do I do?" I handed him off to the police. At least he was alive when we handed him off.
It was a clean handoff.
So, being a nice guy, we drove back down to the park, and his car was still there. Broken windows, but his car was still there. Call his wife back, and I said, "Listen, we don't know where he is. His car is here, broken windows." "Well, I only live 2 hours away. I could just come down there with the other keys." like that could have been the solve the entire time. We wouldn't have had to been looking in the river, call the police. We
So
wouldn't have
it's
had to find
both
this guy.
sides of them not having common sense.
Oh my gosh. This guy probably called me 10 or 12 times after that to go back out fishing. No way.
There's no way.
And at that time, we were charging $85 a person for 4 hours. Like, I don't know how many thousands of dollars we lost that day, but it was not worth it. It was awful.
So when you're doing guides, do you do more than one trip a day?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes I'll start at 8 a.m. and I'll run it to noon, and then we'll start at 2 and run it to 6 p.m. I do a lot of that during ice fishing.
Okay.
But some days we'll just one trip.
Okay. So in this schooling or this Battlefish Academy that you started, what is your sole goal for this academy? What is that the driving force that started you with this academy and your end goal for this academy? What would you like to see?
The first time I took a guided fishing trip, I had a little Boston whaler, a little 14-foot boat.
Yeah.
I didn't make any money off the trip, but it takes months to start a business, get your guide license, get the insurance, find someone that'll go out on a trip with you, even though you don't have reviews. I did all this. My trip went fine. I don't even remember what we caught. Coming home, I was backing my Boston whaler into the garage, and I was so damn excited to tell my family how great and amazing my day went that I forgot to take the fishing rods off the back of my boat, and I broke every one of my St. Croix fishing rods. And that was my whole business. I was flipping devastated. I mean, devastated. All that work down the drain. And it's honestly, looking back, the best thing in the world that ever happened to me. And the only thing that I really, really have to say about that is I came home so damn happy to talk to my family and tell them about that day. And all I want to do is give that feeling to every veteran because they freaking deserve it. That's it. If I can turn them into fishing guides and they can come home happy, nothing else really matters.
That's amazing to get that perspective. That's something else. So when you're showing these guys how to kayak fish, because I've never been on a kayak, I've never gone kayak fishing. Are they hard to tip?
Oh, geez. They're stand on top kayaks. I have kayaks. I have kayaks you couldn't tip if you wanted to tip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is this guy tipping the kayak so many times?
Oh, geez. So river kayaks, different than lake kayaks.
Oh, okay.
We had him on a Jackson Bite FD. And that boat is meant for everybody. It can take a person that's 300 pounds, and it is fast. I mean, you want to see a kayak go 6 miles an hour? That kayak is lightning. But it turns well. It handles the river pretty well. Well, you can put a 10-year-old in it, and they can go. I love that boat because if you don't know who you're getting, that's a very good boat to put them in. If you get a guy that's closer to 300 pounds, maybe you don't put him in that boat. If you know that going in, you can put him on a different boat, a big boat that's never going to tip over. Also, you get people that don't know how to swim. People that don't know how to swim are scared of the water.
Yeah.
Geez, you get them to flinch with a fish bite, and they will jump out of that boat just trying to, on accident, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I fished with a few of them.
Yeah, and people will do funny things when a big fish comes too. I've seen people just step off the boat. My daughter walked right off the blue sky backwards once. Like she was just having a conversation with her hands, and whoop, there she goes.
I ain't gonna lie, I've done that. I've hooked a big fish and somehow let the fish overpower me, and I fell in the river. That doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. But I just stumbled on a rock, and I got all excited, and I ended up laying in the river.
Yeah, it happens, right? It happens.
It does. I've seen guys get so excited, like out halibut fishing out here, or link cod, or anything like that. Even big Chinook out in the Sound or in the Salt, and all of a sudden your line just takes off screaming one direction. You're like, oh, and everybody gets excited. I've watched people straight cut their anchors, cut their rope, and lose their anchor to try and catch up to the fish with the boat.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of pulling it up and just letting the dude fight it, they just said clink and took off. I was like, dude, that's a couple $100 anchor. What's your guys' deal? That's down 600 feet. You ain't getting that bitch back.
They wanted that fish.
I guess so. But no, So when you're taking these guys out, you have a class on kayak, specifically kayak guides, that you teach them how to go out in what to do in a kayak if somebody gets a fish or anything like that. You guys cover all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I got to tell you that I did not grow up fishing every day. In the Army, I didn't even really know how to fish. I grew up throwing a bass spinner, but I was throwing a bass spinner for trout. I was throwing it for bass. I was throwing it for everything because that's all I knew. So we have all these guides now that are really good at different areas. Some of them are good at fly fishing. Some of them are really good at kayak fishing. And we really want to hone you in on what you're good at. The reason that I became successful at this is because of a business model. And the fastest way I can explain this to you, if I gave you $30,000 to start this business, would you buy a boat or would you buy a kayak? Initially, everybody wants a boat, but they could spend $30,000 in a boat, and how many people can you put on the water on that $30,000 boat? Maybe a pontoon boat, you can get 8 or 9.
Yeah.
$30,000 worth of kayaks. How many kayaks can you get?
I don't know how much kayaks cost.
Let's just say you buy one for $1,000. That's 30 kayaks. All of a sudden, you kind of have a different business plan.
Yeah.
A lot of my business, when I'm not busy, comes from schools. I do field trips for kids, and we can operate on grant money. It eats up a lot of the free time if you have trouble booking trips, and it keeps you on the water. So you keep learning, you keep, critiquing your craft. And the best part about doing stuff for schools, which, I mean, every town in America has a school with kids in it. We do these competitions. The newspaper does every year. The best of the mountains. I'm getting voted best of the mountains for the guide service, and there's guide services every 20 feet around here. But it's because we're doing all this for the school system. So I get all this recognition without having to even promote it. My social media has never been about attracting customers or even trying to get more of a following. It's about just retaining the people that I have. All the people that follow me are customers of mine. And I just focus on keeping them, that's it.
So we got here about 5 minutes left. Can you take that time and explain what all of this means to you? Hey, MJ, and the love that you have and why you're doing what you're doing, especially for vets, because that's what I'm kind of focused on here, is explain why, in essence, how it's helped you and what it can do to help some of these vets that could be listening that don't know what outdoors can do. Can you just take the last 5 minutes and explain this to vets that you're trying to pull into your school?
Yeah. I'm a disabled veteran. I have a Valor device, and I've seen some dark places after the Army, and I don't want to see any other veterans have to go through those dark phases. I feel like separating from the Army is like walking into a giant high school, but all the lights are off. Mm-hmm. There's so many opportunities in every room. You just have to figure it out. And if I can just carry a flashlight for someone and say, this is how you be a successful fishing guide. Maybe if this fulfills your purpose, you can find happiness and you can provide a life for your family this way. And it's going to feed your mental health. That's really all I want to do with these guys. Is get them educated to stand on their own 2 feet. Now, if they graduate this, and I'm here for them after they graduate too, right? I want them to be Battlefish. Take Battlefish home and be Battlefish North Dakota or Battlefish South Carolina. I'll help you in any way I can to conquer that. I need people to commit to our program, commit to coming here.
Yeah. It
starts online. It's going to be really cool though. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
No, I'm like I said, I'm praying on it. I've talked to my wife. We've had so much going on. I want to, but we got a lot to figure out. Now I do remember in one of our conversations this week, you had said something about peer counseling or some sort of a counseling therapy. I don't remember exactly what it entailed, but I don't remember if you said you're going to try and get it as one of the classes, or if you yourself wanted to get certified to be able to talk to people. I kind of don't remember.
Sure. So the 15 credit certificate program can build into these other programs. So it's the start of an eco-psychology degree. We're really trying to blend everything, the environment, and we all know that nature heals naturally.
Yeah.
Whether you're out there hunting, just enjoying a kayak paddle down the river, or you're out there fishing, if you spend enough time outside, I feel like that it can dissolve your issues. Just trying to spend more time doing that, dissolving it all.
That's awesome. So one last question. When you go through your school, if you see or anybody is truly, you can tell they really want to be a guide. They weren't just doing it for credits. They want to be a fishing guide. Does Battlefish or Paul Smith help those vets get kayaks or whatever they're transitioning into being a guide at?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the idea is to get you to become your own small business owner. My personal business, my LLC, will be there with kayaks ready to offer you Battlefish Charters LLC if you want. We have licensing agreements, so you can utilize the name and all the trademarks that you want. We have boats available. You can utilize our sponsorships, right? We have a great relationship with places like Jackson Kayak and Sims Fishing, where we get these really great deals, and I can buy a Jackson Bite for $700. We're going to pass it on to you. So if you want 9 boats, you can save that money and have that sponsorship as well. Okay. There's also a plan in place to where, let's say this soldier, he did really great, and I can tell that he wants to be a guide, but he doesn't necessarily have the money. Maybe we can work something out to where you can be Battlefish South Florida and just send 20% home. We're going to give you the kayaks. We're going to give you the fishing rods. You know, you perform the business. We'll help you book the trips. We'll keep your schedule full. Send 20% home until you can pay off the kayaks. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Lots of great ways to do this.
Okay, because I was wondering that, because you probably got some young kids that might want to do this or this and that, and then it's like they got to take a giant loan out to get this kind of stuff. I was definitely curious if Battlefish or the Paul Smith actually did anything to help them, whether it's grants or whatever, to at least get them started. So that definitely clarified that one. That's awesome. Yeah. You guys are doing so much, and Ramrod's got nothing but goodness to say about you guys.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to plug a couple guys that I want you to look into. Veterans Fishing. His name's Matt Ferry. Great dude. He just brings veterans together around the sport of fishing. I will hook you guys up, but I think he has 140,000 followers on Instagram. Check him out. Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah. If I get him on the show to talk about what he does, that'd be great.
I can hook that up.
Awesome. You said okay. Well, then we'll talk after this, and if you can hook me up to anybody that is doing the same things as you or anything around that's outdoors, yeah, I'd love to put them on the show. I'm sure Josh ain't gonna have a problem with it. But to get the different stories out in the different states, wherever they may be, that a lot of vets don't realize there's like Fallen Outdoors or Wounded Warrior Project or these big ones that they're nothing to me. They piss me off. But nobody really knows about these little ones. I've met so many. There's a whitewater rafting guy in Oregon that's a vet that he takes people out on a 7-day whitewater rafting trip to help with their PTSD. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, well, I'll be doing that one soon.
There's one in South Carolina, and he's one of our Battlefish University graduates. His name's Andrew Blackwell from Brushy Mountain. And that's what they do. They take guys out whitewater rafting for a couple days, but they're fishing in between, camping at camps. It looks really cool. I want to get down to that one. Awesome.
Well, we'll stay in touch because I definitely want to reach out to these gentlemen, or at least the veterans fishing guy, get him on here to talk about what he's doing. But you guys, thank you for listening to the Big Grizz Show. We had the honor of having Battlefish Fishing Charters with Paul Smith College. Battlefish AJ starts next month. His first class session. He said a 15-week course. that can in turn put you guys into being a fishing guide, and they will help you figure all that out. Plus the business side of it. And it's not just for vets. So anybody watching, you guys look this up. I've already looked into it, and I'm debating on it. It's one, me and my wife been talking about it since me and you started talking. I was like,
So I want to do it.
I'll send you guys this, and you won't be able to say no.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah, it is something just like that. I mean, with Josh, I mean, you're not a vet, and this isn't for vets, but you've been through circumstances that it's probably good to help. Yeah. And then on top of all that, you get to be outside and you get to meet new people, and you can take them fishing. So yeah, it's just all around a killer opportunity. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be on my Measly podcast.
Well, no, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, we're actually doing pretty good on views. I don't know the analytics for the audio yet, but generally we're in the millions. So that's people listening. So for those of you listening, if you look up paulsmithcollege.edu/battlefish, it'll bring you to his schooling that he's starting. That starts next month. Sounds like he might have a full class already for the first one, or
you know what? I actually can't recruit until probably Monday or Tuesday. I have a lot of people lined up that want to come in. You know, when the rubber meets the road, we'll say who says yes.
Yeah.
But Monday, Tuesday, we're going to open up registration. So I hope 100 people sign up for it.
Well, hey, that'd be killer. But you guys, until next week, you guys watching the Big Grizz Show with me and Josh Pruitt, my co-host, and we had AJ with Battlefish on here talking about his wonderfulness. You guys can catch the podcast on Spotify. I'll get it uploaded, and Facebook and everywhere else. Once you shut the live off, you can still rewatch it. So you guys have a wonderful week, and God bless you all. And until next week, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, AJ. Hey, thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Big Grizz Show. We will be live on air with Voice of the People USA Radio.com every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Times could change depending on guests. But I want to take a minute to personally thank every single one of you that have listened to my show. You guys are an amazing group of people, and you have helped me get to where I am now. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I thank God above all for the opportunity he has put in my lap. And I'm going to run with it, and I'm so happy to see you guys running with it with me. You guys are amazing, and God bless you all, and have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. Have an amazing week, everybody.